Welcome back to the channel, everybody. How you doing? I just want to say I appreciate you guys being here. Today, we are going to talk about People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. Let's get into the synopsis before we talk about this book. Two best friends, 10 summer trips, one last chance to fall in love. Poppy and Alex. Alex and Poppy. They have nothing in common. She's a wild child. He wears khakis. She has insatiable wanderlust. He prefers to stay at home with a book. And somehow, ever since a fateful car share home from college many years ago, they are the best of friends. For most of the year, they live far apart. She's in New York City, and he's in their small hometown. But every summer for a decade, they have taken on one glorious week of vacation together. Until 2 years ago, they ruined everything. They haven't spoken since. Poppy has everything she should want, but she's stuck in a rut. When someone asks when she was last truly happy, she knows without a doubt that it was on that ill-fated final trip with Alex. And so she decides to convince her best friend to take one more vacation together, lay everything on a table, make it all right. Miraculously, he agrees. Now she has a week to fix everything. If only she can get around the one big truth that has always stood quietly in the middle of their seemingly perfect relationship. What could possibly go wrong? So this is my second book from Emily Henry. So I read Beach Reads a couple years ago. Before I even had the channel, I read Beach Reads. I really liked Beach Reads. It was actually my first romance novel I ever read, and it was a knockout of the park. I think I gave it like a 4 out of 5. So I decided we're gonna get back into some Emily Henry. Like this year, I already did my reading goals talking about I want to read more Emily Henry. This is the next one, and I just realized that she's actually coming out with another one in March. So that's just gonna be added to the list of the books I want to read from her this year. This book was actually pretty good. I did not know what I was getting into. I did not think this is what the book was going about with meeting people on vacation. I actually thought it was like the main girl was gonna meet a guy on vacation, and then that's how like they were gonna like spark a romance through that, but it wasn't. And this is my first book where it's the share one bed trope. First book. Interesting. Well, I will say that I did like about it. For one, Emily Henry is just very good at writing. She's a very good writer. She writes very sarcastic ways that feel so true, and she can really write emotion so well that I really enjoyed this. Now, I didn't expect that going in. I read not a lot of romance novels, so I don't really have a lot of experience under my belt. But the way that I like Emily Henry has written is just so good. It's kind of like how I describe how I like Clive Barker writing, like how Clive Barker writes like body horror. I like the way that Emily Henry writes romance. It feels very organic, feels very real. That's a really weird comparison. Did not think I would ever compare Clive Barker writing to body horror to Emily Henry writing romance, but here we are. And I really like that element. There's things that she did in this book that I really did enjoy. So like it says in synopsis that 10 years ago they started doing like trips and everything, and she does flashbacks. It'll say like 10 summers ago, 9 summers ago, and then it would go to like this summer, and you're in a spot where you're trying to see what happened with the two of them. And personally, I think that might have been the weakest part, is why they kind of quit talking, because it wasn't as bad as I expected. I thought it was going to be something way worse, but it was more of just they were just becoming adults and they were just going their separate ways, which is a big reality in life. There's people who I've known when I was younger, I don't even speak to them anymore. Like all through like my high school, for example, I had a really close circle. I don't even talk to one of them anymore. And we haven't talked for like 5 or 6 years, but that's just life. It's not like we hate each other or anything. We just don't talk anymore, and that's just what happens. And that's a reality that hit me pretty hard when I was reading this. It made me think about all of that, and I was like, wow, that was pretty big. Another thing that she does in this book that I always think is really funny, because one of my best friends is a girl, and her and I've been friends for 10 plus years, but it's platonic. There's like nothing between us. She's like married and everything, so it's like we don't have anything like that. We're just really good friends. So it kind of gave me that, because a lot of people always ask us, have you guys ever dated or anything? You guys are just really good friends. We're like, no, we haven't. We're just like bros. That's how we kind of look at it. So it's just funny that I was like looking at it with this book. But in this book, you can definitely tell they both really do like each other way more than just being friends, and the denial of it constantly. All the flashbacks really show that more than the present day ones, and I really enjoy those elements. I think how she wrote Alex and Poppy, how Alex is definitely an extrovert and then Alex is an introvert, is really fun. That you got to see the dynamic between the two of them, and just how she like kind of blossoms Alex in a way to get Alex out of his shell, but Alex also kind of like opens up her shell in a way. So he kind of lets her be vulnerable, even though she is like an extrovert, so she does get out of her shell. But there's like a lot of reasons why. A lot of people that do it, there's like a self-esteem thing, and how Alex treats her is a lot differently than I thought it would be, and it's really good. I also, one thing I can definitely relate to the most in this whole entire book is, holy crap, the small town thing of just never wanting to come back was so crazy. There's a part in this book, and I'm not gonna like spoil, I'm just gonna talk about like the outline of it. I'm not gonna spoil like the characters. The main character meets someone that lives in that town still, and she realizes how happy that person is still in that hometown. Like, they are very happy. And that kind of hit me hard because to me, growing up in a small town, I always thought, oh, small towns, who cares? They, you know, like, it's just, you're wasting your life away. You're not seeing the world. But after reading this book and just for myself, and going back to that small town, because I do have family there, I realized just how happy some of these people are. And I'm like, maybe it's just my judgment saying that these people are just actually happy here. And I just wanted to be the one to escape, which is fine. And I never really thought too deeply about it until I started reading this book. It's just like something like switched in my brain, was like, oh, this is so true. So I'm really happy I read that just to really relate. Usually in all these romance novels, I actually relate to usually more of the guys in this, but this is the first time I related to Poppy more than Alex, because I feel like Poppy's relationship, how she's extroverted, she's very outgoing and stuff, I could relate to more because that's kind of how I am too. So in general, it was more relatability with Poppy, and I really like that. I think Emily Henry is just such a good writer that I'm looking forward to reading the rest of her books. I did have 3 more books to read now. I just saw literally yesterday that she is releasing another book in March, so for my March TBR, be prepared for a lot of Emily Henry books. If you guys made it to the end of the video, let me know down below, what is your favorite Emily Henry book? Is People We Meet on Vacation your favorite, or is it Beach Reads, or is it Book Lovers, or Happy Place, or I think those are the only other 2. Let me know down below. I would love to know, and I cannot wait to hear what you guys think about Emily Henry. And of course, make sure you guys stay safe, stay humble, and tell someone you love them. I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay weird.